This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. Well, hello, good evening to everyone watching on the internet, and for all you on shortwave 9330 listening out there. I want to say hello. I'm Tom Medlin. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable. And boy, it's hard to believe. We've been going now for about 19 or 20 months straight every week. So we've really hung in there, and we really appreciate all of our loyal fans out there that are in here every Tuesday night with us. Today is Tuesday, October the 18th, and just want to welcome everybody and would like to ask that you join our Facebook group. There's a link at the top of the page at the website. At the top it says Facebook and Twitter. Click on that and join our Facebook group. That way you'll be able to see where we're going to be next and who our guests are going to be, and you got access to all of our archive videos and past shows, and it's just a great ham radio hangout. Post pictures of your ham shack, talk ham radio if you want to. As mentioned, we're on WBCQ, the famous international shortwave station up in Monticello, Maine. We've got Lord Robert up there at the controls at WBCQ, putting our audio into the big transmitter up there tonight. And we want to say hello and thank you to Robert up there. So again, if you're on 9330 listening, we invite you to join us at URL, if you've got a computer handy, w5kub.com. Join us and send us a signal report. Let us know how you're receiving us up there. Tonight we've got a really neat show, I think. It's going to be really interesting. We've got with us, let me bring him in here. I'm going to introduce our first guest tonight. Our guest tonight is Carlos Cardon. He's W7QL. He's the president of the Cottonwood Heights Amateur Radio Club in Cottonwood Heights, Utah. And I believe that's a kind of suburb or very near Salt Lake City. But Carlos has been a ham since 1960, so he's got me beat. I thought I was an old timer since 64. No, that's 52 years, but it looks like Carlos has got about 56 years in ham radio there. So he's got a lot of knowledge, and it's going to be a great discussion tonight. He has a degree in electrical engineering. He, I think, started some of his first employment was at Bell Labs. And since then, he worked at a lot of other major communications company. And tonight, we're going to be talking about what his club is doing out in Cottonwood Heights with voice data and video for emergency communications. And Carlos, we've got you on here, man. Hello, welcome.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Tom. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I think that there's been a lot of people asking for this type discussion about emergency communications, and I don't think there's anybody that can do it much better than you guys. I know you've been in the CQ magazine. You might talk about that a little bit later. We also have some video, and you have a presentation, but I tell you, I mean, from what I've seen, nobody can do it better than you guys.
Well, we've been very fortunate to have certain things come together, as I'll show you as I go through the presentation. Some very forward-looking folks, Roger Kerr, Leanne Stillman, who was the first city manager in Cottonwood Heights, Utah, who began thinking of what do we do? We're right here in almost on the top of the Wasatch Fault in the Salt Lake Valley, and according to some studies, this valley experiences a major earthquake about every 300 years or so, and the last one was 400 years ago. So there are those who say we're well overdue, but in any case, whether it happens soon or not, we want to be prepared if it does in our lifetime. So we're fortunate that these folks look forward and began to lay the groundwork, and we've tried to put together an organization and structure that we can respond and try to do the most good that we can if that happens.
Well, hey, if it's been 400 years, you guys better get ready because you're going to have another one there. Let me just mention that Memphis is on a very famous seismographic fault. It's called the New Madrid Fault. And back in the 1800s, I think it was one of the largest earthquakes that's ever hit North America. The Mississippi River ran backwards, I understand, for 3 or 4 days. It created a lot of lakes. It rang the Liberty Bell up in the northeast there. So, well, I tell you, now, I felt a few small tremors here, and we knew what they were, but we're not as active here as you guys are out west.
Yeah, well, I was in California for an earthquake about 20 some odd years ago, and it's quite an experience. We've had minor tremors here in the Salt Lake Valley during my lifetime, but never a major one while I was here.
Well, tell us about your club and what you guys are doing, because I'm amazed at what you're able to do out there. You guys have really done wonders, I think.
Okay, well, if you want to bring up the presentation, I can kind of step through how we've organized to respond in an emergency.
All right, let me see if I can do this here. Let me hit that one, and then I've got to hit this one. We'll figure it out here in a minute, and then I got to hit this one. Boy, I got a bunch of buttons to hit here. All right, let's try that and see how that works. Okay,
I think you've got it. So we are known as the Cottonwood Heights Amateur Radio Club, CHARC for short. You can imagine that we have kind of a cute little logo with a shark holding a handheld that somebody did, and but our normal logo is the one you saw on the first slide.
Let me interrupt just for a second. You see a little box on the top of your presentation up there, the little square box? X that out. No, the X up there. Hit the X at the top. There you go, right there. Perfect.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Okay, so on this slide, you see if anybody's interested in going to our website. We're very grateful for Dan Height, who put it together for us, but we don't really have a webmaster, so it's maybe not quite as active as some folks have, but it's got the essentials, and you're certainly welcome to go there and look at what we do, our procedures, and the events that we participate in. So we formally established this group known as CHARC in January of 2014. As I said, there were several people who earlier were laying the groundwork for this activity, but we wanted to have our own call sign, and so we organized as a club formally in January. A little lesson to anybody. I wasn't present at the meeting where I was elected president, and so maybe who knows who would have been president if I had shown up at that meeting. Anyway, I've been very happy to do that and lead the group, and we've got, as you see there, 24 amateurs who are members of our group. We were able to get call sign Whiskey 7 Radio Cottonwood Heights, which fits our mission exactly, so we were very happy with that. And you can see Grant Gardner, KC7HOU, Rod Rothbauer, KF7WQK, and Bart Van Allen, AA7VA, are the other officers of the club. Here's a few of our folks actively involved. To the right over here, you see Grant Gardner. I just mentioned his call sign. This is Craig Gunther, who is one of our district communication specialists. Craig is actually heavily involved in international networking standards, and so he spends a lot of time traveling the world in that activity. But he's organized his district, which we'll talk about in a few moments, to be very effective. Bart Van Allen, you see here, and one of our city councilmen during an exercise. That's our van that I'll say quite a bit more about during the presentation. So we derived this mission statement, which tells our purpose. And let me read it. Everybody can see it, but let me read it. The mission of the Cottonwood Heights Amateur Radio Club is to provide a pool of trained radio operators to assist city officials and emergency response personnel dealing with emergencies in which normal communications facilities are insufficient. So that's our purpose. We're not a general type amateur radio club. We are very specifically organized to provide operators for emergencies in our city. And so there are a lot of things we don't do as a result of that, and that kind of focuses our energies on exactly what training and technologies we need to investigate to provide communications for our city. So we're in a unique position here in Cottonwood Heights. The reason we're able to do what we do and to get to the level of readiness that I think we've gotten to is, first of all, a city leadership that's committed to being prepared for emergencies. And as always, the key to commitment is how well do you invest money and time in something. And the city has been extremely generous with investing in equipment and hiring people. Specifically, we have an emergency preparedness manager for the city. Our GIS software specialist is also part of that, as well as several other people in the city. So we're staffed with people who are prepared and who at least part of whose job assignment is this, and one individual whose full-time job is being prepared for emergencies. They invested in GIS software. We use the ESRI ArcMap software, which a lot of municipalities do. Very effective tool for emergencies is what we're going to talk about and what we're concerned about, but it serves many, many functions in the administration of the city. We also have established emergency response districts and precincts, sort of like voting districts, but they're organized slightly differently for some good reasons. And those districts are staffed with volunteers, which I'll describe in a moment. The city also invested in an incident command van. You maybe saw just a little bit of a picture. I'll be telling quite a bit more about what that is and what it does. An important part of our emergency response. So the first key element was a city leadership that was committed, and they've certainly demonstrated that commitment. The second is a CERT team led by Debbie McIntosh, which is also very committed to helping people be ready and helping organize with the church groups and our precincts and districts, helping get them organized and teaching them what to do in an emergency. Communications is what we'll focus on, but Debbie and her group are concerned with all aspects of preparedness, such as having emergency food supplies and so on. And then our group, which is an organized group of some skilled folks who are all licensed and who participate in recurring training. We thought it was important to document our procedures. So when it happens, we will do things we have already done numbers of times. We won't be just flying by the seat of our pants. We know what to do, and we'll be able to do that. And you mentioned some of the major companies that I've worked for, and I can remember in some of those companies seeing big binders, numerous binders of processes and procedures that never got looked at, actually, in some cases. Not all the time, but in some cases. So we were a little worried that we didn't want to write these things down and then not have them used, but turns out we use them and we train to them and we update them. So I think that's an important part of what we do is being able to know our process and then train and act to that process. So I mentioned the very close cooperation. There are 6 major emergency response districts in the city. These 6 districts cover about 90% of the city's residents. There are about 35,000 people who live in this city, about 12,000 individual homes, residential units. And so there's been very good cooperation between the city, our group, the church organizations that participate, and the CERT groups. And that's what a major part of what makes this happen. And then I list the folks that are very important in our city, particularly Assistant Police Chief Paul Brenneman. One of his duties, among many, is being responsible for emergency communications. And so I report to him and to the city emergency manager, Mike Halligan. We had a new city deputy city manager, Bryce Hatterley, who has been very active in as we built the new city hall, which we just moved into a couple of weeks ago. He was very instrumental in outfitting that building to be able to handle emergencies. And then Kevin Sato and our mayor, Kelvin Cullimore, and the city council. So let me move, maybe begin to move just a little more quickly here. This gives you an idea of how our city is divided into the major districts. Here is one major district, another one, another. You can see the areas that are sort of color-coded adjacently. Those are the precincts and within a district. And then there are several outlying areas which really aren't part of those major districts. And part of our task in the next year or so is to get them incorporated. So the city is licensed on a couple of UHF frequencies in the 450 commercial band, and we also have VHF. Here in the Salt Lake Valley, we have a group called the VHF Society, and they help us coordinate channel usage, frequency usage, and so we have a designated channel that we're able to use. You can see a list of equipment. I mentioned the van. We have go boxes with UHF and VHF radios, TNCs, portable PCs, a variety of handheld radios, and some generators. And then the new city hall, very importantly, has been wired with heliax and Cat6 cabling to be able to get our signals down. On the right, you'll see there's our beautiful new city hall, which we're all very proud of. And on the right, here's the mast where our antennas will be mounted. As I say, the building is so new that we really don't have the antennas up yet. So we're in the process of creating brackets and all of that sort of thing to get the antennas up, hopefully very quickly. And here's the van itself. This van can operate as a complete freestanding EOC, Emergency Operations Center. Typically, if our city hall is still standing, which we now in the new building, we have a building that's been built to earthquake codes, and it should be. But if it's not, or if for some reason it's more convenient, this van can be a complete freestanding EOC. It has the GIS software on a server computer. You can, from the picture on the right, you can see the mayor and other city folks in the command section of the van. They're looking at a display I'll show you in just a moment, and then myself and Bart in the back where the communications take place. So this is an important part of our emergency response. I mentioned the server computer. That's where our GIS software is resident, but it also is a LAN server for file and print services that we might need when we're operating as an EOC. A bunch of LAN ports, and an important part is the display projector. I'll show you some pictures of how that works, but that's, in fact, it's coming up in a couple of moments. And that whole van is run by a diesel 120-volt generator. So completely freestanding if power is gone. So we've defined 6 basic positions that our members are all trained to, and hopefully most of us are trained in more than one. And in an individual emergency, people get assigned to one of these tasks. The district communication specialist, precinct, the EOC, either in the van or at City Hall, voice net operator, and then we also have a data net operator. So voice control is kind of coordinating everything. The data net operator is gathering the data that's coming from these precincts and districts, and also from the rover or rovers who are out bringing, maybe taking pictures or sending video. We also have a position known as the mesh data operator. So we use the broadband hamnet mesh functions, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. So here's Randy, KD0BAW. He's running the data network. So he's operating either FM or digital voice and gathering files either by D-Star low-speed data or by VHF packet. And then Bart is sitting at the VoiceNet position in the van. So here's the information that's being displayed, or that can be displayed, among others. So the mayor is, during a recent earthquake drill, is looking at a picture of the city, and that picture is being updated with status information, ultimately of all the homes in the city. We'll talk more about that, but this gives him and the police chief and the unified fire rep, if he's at our EOC, our city incident managers can get as up-to-date information as we can provide displayed for them, and then that allows them to use the resources that we have in the city to the best effect. Another thing that you can see on the left, oops, I didn't mean to click that. On the left is just a simple spreadsheet, but we keep track of the districts and precincts and who has data to send. And so the voice net operator will populate this spreadsheet with information about certain districts have information and they're ready to send it. So for example, here you can see the Butler district, which is Bill W7QL. He's running D-Star data. So this spreadsheet is visible. It gets filled in by the voice operator, but the data operator has it on his PC. He can see now that that Butler district, the Butler Hill precinct, has data ready to go. You can't quite see it here. And then he goes out and he grabs that file. It gets put into the server computer and into the GIS software, where we now have a map that's populated with the status of all the residents. And that's a pretty big undertaking, and that information will be invaluable in a major emergency. So one of the positions is rover. Bud Stevens, N7 USC, is sort of our lead rover. He's always out and busy. You can see the computer he's got in his car and his D-Star handheld radio. He's taking pictures over here on the left, which he sticks into his computer. He compresses them and then can send them via D-Star radio to the van. And we can display them on the screen. So if the police chief wants to know what's the status at intersection such and such, Bud can take a picture, and in a couple of minutes we've got it. Now, this is all instantaneous if the internet is up, but if it's not, we have the ability to use VHF radio. Not quite as fast, but we can get it there. So we've documented the procedures, and the two kinds of things that can happen. First of all is a major event. That's the earthquake, the tornado, something that really affects the entire city. So our primary objective in that case is to get enough data to help the incident commanders figure out who needs help, where the hot spots are in the city. If we end up with a lot of homes not able to be occupied, we might have a mass shelter set up at one or two spots within the city, which are predetermined. And in that case, we would set up a mesh system with video and audio to be able to watch what's going on, to be able to get communications within that mass shelter, a big encampment, for example. The second kind of thing that can happen is a localized event. Such an example of that is a flood or maybe a large fire. And our primary objective there is to augment what information the emergency responders are getting from their normal communications. Typically in these things, normal comm is not out, but it could be. But in any event, we can send our rover someplace to provide voice and streaming video if we've got mesh connectivity and pictures, still pictures through D-Star data. So we put together some other documentation, which is fairly important. We do a lot of drills at special events, such as our city celebration each year, and that really kind of simulates an emergency, but we can deploy and check our equipment and check our procedures there. So we have a document which tells us how to plan for a special event and how we plan our drills, which we do a number of times a year. We have a document which spells out a very important position, which is the district communication specialist. And I'll say a little bit more about him, and then a message procedure. So let me, Tom, are you still there? I've been talking for several minutes.
I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah.
If you could go to play this video, that will give people a pretty good idea of how this thing works in an emergency.
I'll do that. First, let me just make a quick announcement. People, I see some questions, and there are people, I think, from your club maybe answering some of the questions, but if there are any questions that come up, we can bring those up at the end of your presentation and have you answer them. Also, just again, if anybody's listening on 9330 shortwave, you can join us on W5KUB.com. Just if you got a computer, go to W5KUB.com and you can see us and join us there. All right, so let's look at this shakedown or whatever that video was called. Here we go.
The city of Cottonwood Heights, Utah is a leader in emergency planning and response. The city's elected officials, professional staff, and volunteers work together to ensure that our residents will have timely and effective help when disaster strikes. The volunteer organization known as Get Ready plays a significant role in preparing Cottonwood Heights citizenry for emergencies. Debbie McIntosh leads this organization.
My responsibility for Get Ready is to help all the precinct leaders build their own neighborhood plan.
I'm Carlos Cardon, president of the Cottonwood Heights Amateur Radio Club. The radio club was organized with a single purpose in mind, providing trained operators to assist Cottonwood Heights emergency responders when normal communication systems are insufficient. Throughout the year, we participate in a number of training activities to make sure we have procedures, equipment, and competent operators to respond when we're called upon. The most significant training event in Cottonwood Heights each year is the Great Utah Shakeout. In a prior video, we described the 2014 Shakeout drill and what was learned from that experience. Many things worked well in 2014, including packet and D-Star digital radio communications and a high-speed data link from our incident command van to the city office building. However, it was also clear that a number of improvements needed to be made. The 2015 scenario assumed occurrence of a major earthquake affecting the entire city. At that point, several things would happen. Block captains immediately performed their rounds to check status of residents. The incident command van is moved into position at Brighton High School. Emergency radio operators set up the Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, at the van. Radio operators in each district begin to establish communication with the EOC. One of the goals for 2015 was the establishment of a completely freestanding EOC in the command van. This required several actions. First, installation of a server computer in the van with the capability to host the city's important geographical information software. With this software and information from block captains sent via radio, we are able to display the status of each home in the city. This allows the incident command team to best use our rescue resources. Secondly, the new server computer also helps us to more effectively store and print messages and project city maps on a screen in the van. The Brighton District Emergency Communications Specialist is Soren Sorensen. Thanks to Soren and other district communications operators, we were successful in getting communications coverage from every one of the 6 major districts and all the precincts in those districts. We also provided the capability to map the locations of participating radio operators throughout the city. This is especially important for mobile or rover operators who can be directed to a specific location and report on current conditions. Bud Stevens was a rover operator this year. FEMA standard messages were sent from each district and rover, and responses were generated by the command team. Our final goal for 2015 was to be more organized in handling visitors to the mobile EOC. We consider the 2015 Shakeout Drill a major success. Had this been a real event, our actions could have been critical to saving lives and property in our city. As usual, we had tremendous support from city officials, including Mayor Cullimore, the City Council, Mike Halligan, and Linda Dunleavy. We are especially appreciative of the support from the Cottonwood Heights Police Department and to Assistant Chief Paul Brenneman. As we look forward to 2016, we still have an urgent need for precinct leaders, block captains, and radio operators. If you would like to participate as a precinct leader or block captain, please contact Debbie McIntosh of CH Get Ready. If you're an amateur radio operator or would like to become one, please contact the Cottonwood Heights Amateur Radio Club.
All right, boy, I tell you, that was a very well put together video, and I need to make one quick announcement I forgot to at the beginning of the show. We're going to give a prize away tonight to a lucky viewer out there. We're going to give away a digital multimeter to someone here after this segment, so everybody just stand by there. So back to you, Carlos. That was really a great video. People are asking what the URL is. I suppose they can just go to YouTube and look for the Cottonwood Heights Amateur Radio Club.
That's one way to get it, Tom. The other is it's being displayed on the screen right now if you're back to my presentation.
Okay, yes.
And yeah, that video was done by my son, who is a promising videographer. He's actually became the city videographer as part of this activity, and really enjoys doing that sort of thing. If you could, my son Jeff, by the way, if you could switch back to my video, to my camera, I wanted to show everybody something.
All right.
As part of our process here.
We're there.
Oh, are you there? Okay. So here are a set of ribbons, we call them, that have been distributed to pretty much every residence in the city. And the residents are trained that in this major emergency, they are to put out one of these colored ribbons someplace where it can be seen at their home. And this allows the block captain to go to just walk through his block area and note the color of the ribbon on an individual home. And that represents their status. And as part of the GIS software, every one of the homes in the city has been given a 5-digit individual identification code. So all we need to send in the very basic first pass is a 5-digit code that tells the residents and the color of the ribbon that was out. So if they hang a green ribbon, that means we're okay. Everybody is safe here. That's the one we hope is mostly there. A yellow ribbon. Are you able to see this okay, Tom?
Yeah, oh yeah, we see it.
Okay, yellow ribbon means...
Hold it up just a little higher.
Pardon me?
Hold that one up just a little higher. There you go.
Okay. So a yellow ribbon means there are some injuries here, but they're not serious and we can get by for now. So pay attention to the more serious folks. The red one is the one that we really want to pay attention to, and that's what we're really looking for in triage. A red ribbon indicates that there are life-threatening injuries at this home, and so we really pay attention to those. And then in the worst case, if there's a fatality, a black ribbon is
you were holding it upside down.
So the first thing that happens is the residents put these out. The block captains know to get their list and go and determine the color. The radio operators know immediately to get on their radios and go to our standard frequency and listen for instructions. But in addition to going to that frequency, there are folks who are assigned as the precinct and district communications guys know that they need to get to their radios and begin gathering the data from the blocks at the precinct level, and then getting that data to the district level. Each district is several precincts. It starts out as an Excel file. At the district level, we put it into a CSV format, so it's much smaller, and then that is sent by D-Star Radio. Part of our process is that we specify at the district level the type of equipment and the software and the hardware. Not so much the hardware, as long as you can do D-Star or Packet and UHF, VHF, but we pretty much standardize at the district level, and then we allow the districts, as far as communications with their precincts go, to do whatever works. Some use SneakerNet, some use FRS radio, some are planning to use mesh radio. I use in our individual precinct, we use FRS radios. That gets the data from the block to the precinct, and then eventually up to the EOC. And so the radio operators know to get to their radios. Those who are assigned to work in the EOC will begin coordinating with us on our standard frequency and let us know who's available to come and man the EOC, and who's available to go be a rover, and we organize that very quickly. So this was something that we put out and for the 2015 earthquake drill. You can see Kevin is showing the ribbon, and that's really kind of where it all starts, to get the massive data that we have to get to really describe what's going on in our entire city. And then Dick Abbott, K7 Mike Zulu, is operating the data net in that case. So I think we've already pretty much covered this gathering the data phase. Alan is going around. You can see he's got his tablet, and he's filling out. It's got a map of his block. He's just gathering the colors that are posted on the homes in his precinct, and then he gets that information to Soren, who is a district communicator, and he has several precincts. As each precinct comes available, he alerts the VoiceNet operator, and then we can pull that data up and get it displayed on the GIS system. So here's the mayor and Debbie and our assistant police chief, and then here's the Butler district, Bill Christensen, W7KF, W7. Oops, I've slipped. His call sign has slipped my memory. Bill is our very active member in the Butler district. We also have go boxes that we use. We'll take these to set up in the van, or we can take them for other portable operation. Basically, it's you can see on the left there's an ID1, an ICOM ID1, and on the right, I'm sorry, no, that's the 2820 on the left, and on the right is an ID1. Down at the bottom is a TNCX for packet, and then a power supply. The primary software that's involved in this, and there's quite a bit actually, is the GIS system, which I mentioned earlier. Very important to our operation is DRATS. This is a piece of software that is free, that was written by Dan Smith, and he makes that available to the community, and it's very, very helpful in managing the file transmission, handling messages, APRS for where our rovers are, and a simple chat function that's really very nice. We use the Aries net logger at the VoiceNet. Excel, I mentioned, is where we begin to gather the status information, and then we send it in CSV format for compression. I mentioned BBHN, and I'll say just a few more words. We're coming pretty close to the end here, but it's certainly the mesh video and video conferencing has been very useful in certain instances. We use IrfanView when we have to send images by VHF radio, because we can take a several hundred K photo and compress it to 20K or so, and that, excuse me for the flip there, I was hoping I'd saved something. But we can compress it to around 20K, which takes us 3 or 4 minutes on VHF packet, 1200 baud packet. Doable, but not the world's greatest, certainly. DRATS is the primary tool. It's not bug-free, but it really does the job for us. We're very pleased. We are so grateful to Dan, KK7DS, for making that available. And if something happens to it, it reloads really fast and comes back up. So we use both packet and D-star data. We probably, if we had to do it today, we could maybe start with D-star. We've found that to be a little more resilient than packet, but their basic throughput is roughly equivalent, and it ends up being less than about a kilobit per second. But we use both because some of our districts, when we began, already had packet radio, and we didn't want to require them to buy new equipment. So we handle either packet or D-star, and our data net operator is trained to do that. And then we're looking at using possibly UHF and going to 9600 baud packet. And also our ID1s in the DD mode, we can get 120 kilobits per second. That's pretty high-speed data, actually, in the ham world, not in the outside world where I used to work, but does a pretty good job. Oh, I did save this. This is an example of how the image compression works using IrfanView. So you can see the original photo. I've cropped it right here to catch the essentials, and then compressed it. And over to the right, you see what started out to be 1.2 megabytes is now 24 kilobytes. And as I say, that goes in a little less than 4 minutes at our roughly a kilobit per second data transmission speeds, and pretty darn good. I mean, you've lost hardly anything in terms of understanding what that picture is about. So let me say just a couple of words about DRATs, and then a few words about mesh, and then we'll take some questions. So DRATs does file transfer, handles all the details very nicely. Along with the message handling, we use a FEMA standard ICS 213 message format. That'll be really important if we start getting involved with FEMA in a major emergency, and with other organizations outside ourselves. We can send ourselves little chat messages, but as we need to move beyond the FEMA format is important. And then DRATS manages the inbox and the outbox and all of that stuff very nicely. You can set it up to run D-star, packet, internet, et cetera. I really like the APRS. Each of the stations can enter into his DRATS software his GPS location, and then all I have to do if I'm running the data system is send out a request, and I get back the location and a display on a map of where all my stations are. And that's especially important for rovers, so we can show our emergency responders where we've got rovers and who's closest to go check something out for them. And then I mentioned the chat function. So I won't say too much more about this. I originally put this presentation together to do some training. DRATS, so you can set it up so that you can run either packet or D-star, or you can do internet networking kind of connection. And file transfers, it works very nicely. On the left part of the screen, these are all the files I have on my computer. Over to the right, if I go out to one of the districts, I can connect to him with this button, and I can find all the files that he's got, and then I just push download, and I grab the file that he's got. It sends it to me at the EOC, and I can immediately put it over to the computer which manages the GIS. Very, very nice. Thanks so much, Dan. Message management. We've made our own. Kind of customized, but standard ICS 213 message form. And there is the map. So This can be easily displayed on the projector in the van or at our EOC, which would be a very large screen at the new City Hall. And the responders can see there's where all the stations are located. Very helpful in a major emergency where we need to send people somewhere. So let me say just a couple of words about BBHN, this broadband hamnet. This allows us, using specific firmware that these guys have created, very nice stuff, to set up a mesh network in the amateur portion of the Wi-Fi bands. We mostly use the 2.4 gigahertz, but there are you can use it in other authorized amateur bands as well. It loads on both Linksys and Ubiquiti hardware. It sets up a self-discovering, self-configuring, fault-tolerant network. And so the way we use it, I'll show you in just a moment, but our implementation, we started out with Linksys routers. We found that they're usable in a moderate environment, but we took them outside in the heat at our city celebration, and we found that they don't like that so much. So the Ubiquiti, the bullets and rockets and nanos and so forth, they're higher power, and they were designed to live outside, so no problems there. But they are a single input. The Linksys routers have multiple inputs, so if I'm at a mesh node and I've got a camera and I've got a computer, it is a switch as well as a transceiver, and so that's very helpful. So we use those indoors; they're very useful. But outdoors, if we need to have more than one input with a Ubiquiti, we'll just wire up a simple Ethernet switch and make that work. We've also had Raspberry Pi bridges to do a Wi-Fi hotspot. The police chief was able to see what all of our cameras, all the cameras that we had in the network that were streaming video on his cell phone as he walked around the city celebration location. Pretty cool. And we're also going to be looking at the Aridon firmware, which is a new vintage of BBHN, and seems to have maybe has some advantages in some applications. So here's the marathon. We were all set up early in the morning, and we had a camera up on top of the old city office building. And you can see on the right, this is the screen inside the incident command van. Picture on the left is the picture within on the left of the picture on the right is the view of the whole campus area from that camera that was up on top of the building. And the picture on the right is a picture of a camera down at the marathon finish line. So that gives us a chance to, and that's the node that was down at the marathon finish line. And here's some of the streaming video that it was generated. So this is some use during these events, but what it really does is allows us to develop the technology and train on the use of the technology for emergency situations. And then we use also Team Talk that allows us to conference with each other. You can have multiple, just like you and I are doing right now on Skype, Tom. We can have several stations with webcams and send data back and forth, all within a local area. The area is limited, of course, with Wi-Fi, and so we use it at the marathon, like at the finish line, and we use it if we have to set up an encampment for an emergency. So, in summary, we've got a great team working together, and all these varieties of datacom, packet, D-Star, mesh, all of these things are really valuable tools for emergency response. And then putting together an organization with people who are committed, training them, having procedures that we work by really makes the job easier. And we're finding evolving, when we started out, we didn't even know anything about mesh, and now mesh is kind of an important part of our arsenal. And we're continuing to, at the 2016 shakeout, we had a drone with doing video. So we look at the technologies that apply to our emergency scenarios, and we incorporate what we can. So thank you very much for letting me talk here, Tom. I went a little over time. I apologize, but I'll be happy to try to address any questions that I can.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, it's been great, great presentation. Man, you guys have really knocked the ball out of the park here on this thing. All the things you've done, and there were a few questions in the chat room, and I just jotted down some of them. Let me just go through them real quick. The mesh network. What kind of coverage do you get in your city with the mesh network?
Well, that's a good question. So far, we're able to use the mesh in a couple of things. One is if we take it to the city park where we would have an encampment, we can pretty well cover that several acres. We have one of our districts is going to be trying to use mesh within local neighborhoods, maybe a few miles. We've had within our valley here, there's a lot of experimentation going on. I think I had the record once upon a time at about 12 and a half miles, but that's since been crushed. So you got to have very good line of sight and gain antennas. What we don't know, and what we're about to find out over the next few months, is with the new city hall and a mesh antenna on top of that building, which is located in a pretty good place for point to point in the city. We'll find out. We hope to have coverage within the whole city, but I think we'll have a lot of it in the new building.
Okay. Here's a question that just came in. Are you concerned with the lack of encryption on the mesh network?
Well, for the things that we do right now, no. Any emergency communication that you're doing as a ham is not encrypted. In an emergency, you're trying to get data to where it can be used, so I guess my answer is no. We're not concerned about that.
Okay. And this was a big expense. Everybody in the chat room is talking about, you guys have put a lot of equipment and infrastructure in place. So is there any way to kind of know how much money was spent on putting together this, I guess, your portion of the emergency communications, all the things that you do?
I've never tried to calculate that. Certainly the van was tens of thousands. I don't know what it cost in the new city hall to run the heliacs and do all the things they're doing. And by the way, they were thinking of putting the whole building on a backup generator, but that proved very costly. So at least the EOC and major areas, the police department, are on backup power, and where we'll have our EOC and radio equipment will be on automatic generator power. So there's some amount of expense there. Just in terms of radio equipment, certainly over $10,000. A lot of the equipment that's involved in this is owned by the individual hams. So
okay.
I don't know.
So I'm sure there were some probably state or grants that probably helped with some of that, of course, and city. But you're saying the ham radio operators also have funded a lot of their own equipment.
Yeah, the Go boxes and the equipment we use at the EOCs is owned by the city. Almost all, well, not all. Most of the equipment that we use with rovers and the districts and so on is owned by the hams. It's their personal equipment. So a lot of guys have bought their own TNCs, and almost everybody had VHF, UHF radios, but a lot of guys invested in TNCs, and a lot of guys bought ICOM D-Star radios to do D-Star data.
Okay. Now here's a really good question for you here. Who plays the bassoon?
I was, as I mentioned to you earlier, Tom, I do have Skype down in my shack, but that equipment is kind of flaky, and you could have seen radios and oscilloscopes and antennas down there, but I figured this is the most reliable Skype site, so it's my music room, and yes, I am the bassoonist.
All right.
I sometimes play with the Salt Lake Symphony, and have been fortunate enough to play in pro-am events with the Utah Symphony. I regularly play with a group called the West Valley Symphony, and bassoonists are rare enough that I get called to almost every community symphony in the Salt Lake Valley.
Sounds like you're kind of an expert or a pro there. But hey, toward the end of the show, we might have to let you play 2 or 3 bars.
No, I'm an ensemble player, not a soloist.
Okay. So here's a question. I saw it mentioned in the chat room earlier. You know, you need people to do all this. And what a lot of clubs and organizations have problems with when there's emergencies, the people don't show up. So are you guys having that problem?
Well, that's the biggest thing I'm concerned about in a major emergency, and not just that people wouldn't show up. We've had pretty much 100% response when we've planned drills. I don't think anybody's not shown up to a pre-planned drill. But in a major emergency, see, I'm retired and I'm home almost all the time. But the only time in the last 2 years when we might have been called out, turned out we weren't, but might have been called out, I was 2 hours away buying peaches in Brigham City. And so that's my biggest concern, is that who knows where any of us will be when this earthquake hits. And so our strategy in dealing with that is to go several operators deep in every position. And one of our goals for next year is to make sure that every single position has at least one backup. But the EOC, right now we're 3 deep in each of the positions in the EOC. We're 3 deep in the rovers. We're only 1 deep in a couple of the district spots, though. So we've got a little bit of recruiting to do there.
Okay, I put the phone number up in case someone does want to call in. We're getting a lot of the questions through the chat room, but if anyone would like to call in, we'll try to take your call. 901-286-1116. You know, I know you use data and texting and different things like that. Do you use RTTY? Is that in any form?
Well, you know, I do that on HF sometimes just for fun, but no, we have not had occasion to use RTTY.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I think I've covered most of the questions. Do the police, fire departments, et cetera, use hams in ongoing everyday emergencies? Well, I guess the answer to that probably is that. But I think it sounds like you got a good relationship with your police and city government there. So do they use you guys a lot?
You know, we're used a lot in city events, but mostly for training purposes. We have a big city celebration, which takes place at a large park near a middle school, and we set up the EOC there. We set up the mesh operation with streaming video. If for example, we this past July at the last event, we wanted to test out recording of the streaming video. And so we set up a camera that was panning continuously the children's area where they had a bunch of bouncy toys they could jump on and that sort of thing. And so we recorded 7 hours of video of the children's area. Now that was, it could have been valuable if a child had been abducted. But the other part of it is it's partly training for us to get our equipment running and our processes running in the event of this big emergency, and that part of it would be at an encampment, like I've said before.
Okay, and one last question I see here. Do you have any interoperability with the Yaesu System Fusion pictures? It says that's the question.
We haven't done anything with the Yaesu stuff yet. If I don't know under what conditions we might. If we needed to send something to nearby agencies, maybe we'd think about how we had to do that. But we've accommodated on the roof of this brand new building a G5 RV so that we could put up HF radio. In the event, our state government uses HF radio as an emergency communications tool, and FEMA, of course. If we had to reach FEMA in neighboring states, we'll have the ability to do HF radio.
All right. How many members are in your club, and what's the population of Cottonwood Heights?
So there are approximately 37,000 residents in the city, 35 to 37 of that order. There probably are a couple of hundred, 200 to 300 licensed amateurs in the city. We have 25 who are actual members of our organization, and we could certainly use more. I know a lot of young families, are very busy, and it's difficult for them to participate. So a lot of us who are retired, have a number of the critical positions, but we're really anxious to recruit younger folks as they're able, and certainly we've all been there of jobs and family and obligations of young and middle adulthood, but we have 24 members and looking to grow.
Well, that's great. I think we've covered a lot of the questions, and I did see some of your local people there in the chat room earlier. I think Ron was in there, and I'm not sure who else, but I'm sure he's in there answering questions. And so how's the best way to get in touch with you? If anybody wants to ask you a question later or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do it?
Probably email. Do you have my email address, or should I just give it here?
Just go ahead and give it.
Okay, it's CD Cardon, that's CDCARDON, my initials and last name, at Comcast.net.
All right. Question: How many people have you recruited for this ham radio activity here from your ensemble musical group? See, we get into all kinds of questions here.
I can't think of one, actually.
So you're the only nerd guy that plays the music?
I guess.
Okay.
Actually, we do have one guy who's a professional musician who belongs to our group.
Okay, cool.
He plays professionally, supports his family at least partially by playing professionally. But he's more a jazz artist than a classical, which is of course what a bassoon does.
Okay, Carlos. Well, look, thank you very much for the presentation. It had a lot of interest of a lot of people there in the chat room, and man, the video was just great. There's more videos out there to see. I was really impressed with the quality of the videos and how they were put together, and you guys really have this emergency communications for Cottonwood Heights just really organized. That's all I can say. And you've got the infrastructure back there, so you guys have done a great job. Also, I think you're in the October issue of CQ magazine?
Yeah, that's right. We didn't make the cover, but we are in this. Whoops!
hold it over. There you go, right there. Okay. So people that take CQ can also read the article about you in CQ magazine in the October issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you can search YouTube and also find those. And guess what? This show was recorded, so if people wanted to go back and look at a few things, they can come back to our archives on our website, and they can watch this show later tonight, tomorrow, next week, and fast forward through it to the part that they would like to know more about. So the URL and the addresses and all those things are in there. So again, thank you so much for being with us tonight. And we'll probably have you back here, maybe in 6 months or so, and tell us how things are going again.
Sure. I'll be happy to do that, Tom. Thank you very much for letting us share this with you.
Well, thank you very much, Carlos, for joining our show tonight, and we'll talk to you later there. That was Carlos Cardon, W7QL. Yeah, I always have trouble with those calls. But great segment tonight on what they're doing out there. Boy, I just would wish that people around around me are doing the same thing. We have a mesh network here, and we have several things like that in the area, but I don't think anyone is really organized like this in the Memphis, Tennessee area. So I'm going to go ahead and drop you off, Carlos. If you want to join the show, you can go to W5KUB.com, and no telling what the show is going to turn into, because you are our premier #1 guest tonight. Now, we are going to give away a prize in a few minutes to someone logged in the chat room. So if you want to log in the chat room, you might win a 7-function multimeter. We're giving away a 7-function digital multimeter tonight. So if Hambot calls your name and you say I'm here, you'll win that. So Carlos, I'm gonna kill a connection. You can join us at W5KUB.com.
73.
All right, thanks. 73. All right, let's see. Tom, hey Tom, what's my call? I'm not sure what K9WKJ is asking. Not sure. Okay. Kathy is not with us tonight, and all you guys know Kathy is Hambot, the master of Hambot. But we're going to give away a prize in just a few minutes. Now, I've got Walter here with me. Walter's joining us tonight. And I'm going to have Walter come right here in just a minute. We're going to bring the other laptop, the number 6 computer it takes to run this show. And we're going to bring up Hambot. And we're going to give this prize away in just a minute to someone. And see if we can find somebody that wants a multimeter. So here, come on around here, Walter. You're going to have to bring your chair. I'll see if I can scoot over a little. I think our carpet cleaning people, they're not doing a very good job here. The carpet's getting all tangled up. Yeah, we're going to have to hire another contract company, I think. Okay. All right, let's see if everybody can get in here. So let's see. Oh, you're in here. Okay, great. Oh, what is that? Yeah, go ahead and put that on. They'll need to hear you. All right, so let me make a couple announcements. If you're out there, first of all, thank you to WBCQ up there in Monticello, Maine, up in the very top northeast of the U.S. there. WBCQ 9330 kilohertz. Very special station, and we really appreciate all they do for us. We appreciate Robert. Robert's in here. Maybe Robert will win the prize tonight. He might need a multimeter to keep the transmitter going up there. If you're listening on shortwave, you can join us. Go to W5KUB.com. Also, I'd like to if anybody's new that just came in, click on our Facebook link up at the top of the menu and join us. And join our Facebook group. Now, what was I fixing to do? We're fixing to run. Do we have a connection? You unhooked the Ethernet cable. Let's see if we're.
Yeah, I think it went wireless.
Did it? Okay.
We ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead and bring Hambot up. Now we're going to bring Hambot up. You have been disconnected. Okay, that's all right.
Story.
I think we're off the air on. Okay.
Here we go.
I think we're off. Do this. Hit connect.
Okay.
See if it'll connect. And let's see, we should come up on wireless. Let me borrow the laptop a second.
There you go.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see. It says we're going to connect right here. It says connected. Okay, we connected to our. Now I got to get back. We need to get you back in the chat room because when you unplugged it lost you, I guess.
Knocked me out of there too.
Yeah, let's see if you're back on. Well, let's just ask the question. Does anyone see that? Does anyone see that message? We're probably off.
Probably, yeah.
You know, the thing about this chat client here, I can't tell when it goes offline.
Will that cable reach over here?
Yeah, here
I'll go. Let me go get it.
No, I've got a cable right here. I've got all kinds of cables. Let me get another cable right here. We're on. It's just that we're having to reconnect to the IRC chat room, but let's just go cable.
Let's make it happen.
But I mean, we're on the. So here's what we're gonna have to do, guys. Bear with us just a minute, and we'll be giving away a prize in a minute. Let's just leave that page, and then let's. Oh, let's see. Trying to get back in the chat room. Okay, let's just type Walter here.
I'm glad you know how to do this.
We're just going to put your name there, Walter, okay. And I'm logged on over there. So, all right, we're back on. Okay, so we've got connectivity there. If you want to bring Hambot up now, hand me that meter. Hand me that meter. Let me tell everybody what they're getting.
Give me the full rundown on that.
This is not this is not a totally expensive meter, or we'd go out of business here at W5KB.com. But we wanted to give a little away something, and it's very useful. The meter works. It's a great little meter. You know, it's a 7-function digital multimeter. It's got a transistor tester, a diode tester. It'll measure current up to 10 amps, AC, DC, voltage, ohms.
And with the new battery, it'll be on and off.
Yeah, and you know, so let's okay. Now let me tell the people the rules real quick here, and we're going to try to start maybe doing some prizes on our Tuesday night shows. Typically, we give away prizes when we go out and we do these Hamfest. In fact, we give away about $10,000 per year in prizes. And if you'd like to see some of the prizes we give away, click on the link at the top menu that says prizes, and you'll see we give away antenna tuners and D-Star radios and handy talkies and all kinds of stuff. So we may start giving away some of these on the show on Tuesday nights. So here's the rules, guys, because I'm going to have to ship this. This is on me.
Okay, all right.
Since I'm going to have to ship this, I'm going to hope, well, I'm going to say you need to be in the U.S. You've got to be in the USA for me. If you're going to win this, you've got to be you got to have a USA address. I'll just put it that way.
There you go. That's reasonable.
USA address. I don't care if you live in Arno. Arno's over in the Netherlands, you know.
He is.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah.
Arno's watching right now in the Netherlands. Arno, if you win this, if you've got a U.S. address, we'll ship it to you. Okay. So, here, one last thing. Here, if you're not familiar with Hambot, Hambot is a program we designed. It's all in-house developed. Hambot is going to pick a name. He's going to start the timer. He's going to give you 60 seconds. And then you have to enter something in a chat room. Just say, yes, I'm here, or hit a letter and hit to enter. You just got to hit something in the chat room, and Hambot will know you're there. If you don't answer in 60 seconds, Hambot's going to pick somebody else. You don't argue with Hambot. He's a robot. You used to could argue with me, and that's why we made Hambot, so you can't argue. Now, let me show you just real quick. I've got to put Hambot on here. So here we go with Hambot. Just show you what Hambot's going to look like.
He's ready for action.
Okay, so Hambot is ready for action now.
Are you ready?
All right, do you remember I gave you 30 seconds of instructions? You've never seen this before.
No.
But you're a pilot. You should be able to
That's
pick
why
this
it
stuff
takes
up.
Me 2 minutes to get it straight.
You should be able to pick this up. So you got the prize selected.
We're
okay,
there.
go ahead and pick winner.
Ready?
Yeah, tell it to pick winner. Oh, okay, I think that guy's here. Let's just go
that one
ahead.
here?
Yeah, well, let's see. Let's see.
Wait a minute. You know something? It didn't give me the start count.
Let's see. Let's see what we got here. I think we have a malfunction of Hambot. Why did that happen? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're just going to restart Hambot. When we lost the network a while ago, that probably
kicked it
probably
out too.
did something, yeah. So let me open Hambot back up. All right, so there's our.
All right.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're connected. Hambot is connected. So let's go ahead and let's have him pick the winner.
But now with this is.
Well, but when you pick a winner, it'll
Does it
repopulate.
repopulate?
Yeah, it'll
Are we
repopulate.
ready?
Pick the winner. Yep. Okay, things are looking good. Let's see.
Is it up
Here,
here?
let's see what we got here. What is that? Yeah, let's see. Let's scroll this and see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So he's picked somebody. Go ahead and tell him to see if they're here.
So we're gonna start the count.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. So somebody's calling in on a phone. Stand by, caller. Stand by, and we'll get with you in just a minute. Oh, you're not typing.
Oops.
You got to put your cursor in there if you want to type.
I thought I did. Oh, there we
There
go.
you go. So we're looking for a N4AXE. Yeah, N4AXE. Well, wait, don't say that because
Well,
he's not the
that's-
winner
that's
yet.
true,
Yeah,
that's true.
Hambot's already announcing who we're looking for. So,
That's true.
let's see. Yes, I'm here. That's not going to work. KA1ULN. That's not going to work.
Uh-oh.
Might even get you banned, man. You know. The rules are, they've always been, everybody's supposed to be silent and don't really type. Don't type while we are giving away prizes. And the phone's ringing. Let's see if we can answer that phone. You want to answer that phone? Or that first mouse right
This one?
there?
This one?
Yeah, that one right there. Click the.
Hello?
Hello, who you got on the phone?
Hey, good evening.
Hello, who you got?
Good evening.
Steven.
Hey, yeah, hey, gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Hang on, Steven. Hang in there a minute.
He didn't answer. We got to do this again.
Okay, great.
Okay, so Steven didn't answer. Hambot said he's not there. So is Hambot going to pick somebody
I
else?
think we're going to. Let's see what we got.
Or Hambot's going to pick somebody else. Okay, let's go with it.
Is that?
Yeah.
That's the one,
Yeah.
right? Here we go.
That's who Hambot picked. Oh wait! You're giving away the wrong prize. You're giving away a nothing prize.
Okay. Well,
So we'll just hit stop. Hit no winner.
no winner.
Hit no winner. Now select.
But see, that was highlighted.
Was it?
Yeah.
This is another nothing prize. Boy, I tell you, where's Kathy when you need her, right?
Well, exactly.
When you need her, you know. I think Hambot's acting up tonight. Let's see. All right, here's the deal. We're gonna try this again. If Hambot does not list the prize correctly, we're gonna start over. All right, function. That's it.
We'll click on one and go back to it just to make
Yeah,
sure.
we'll try. Okay, there's
All
the.
right. There's that one.
There it
There's that
is, right there. Okay, so let's see what it says. All right, Hambot's mixed up, but hey, this is for the real prize. This is the real prize, okay? That's not who he called, was it? Yeah, he called Rich. All right, he called K9HVM,
Yeah,
and Rich
yeah.
answered. Okay,
Okay.
K9HVM, Rich contact. Okay, K9HVM, right? K9HVM.
HVM.
Okay, K9HVM, you won. Hambot was having a little problem there. Of course, we haven't had Hambot on since just go ahead. Did you hit something?
I was typing it here.
We've got Hambot doesn't see him. Yes, yeah. Well,
That's Arno.
okay,
this guy-
okay.
this guy's
K9HVM did answer. He answered with a.
With an
He
idea.
he answered with Arizona on the end. That's probably not how he logged in. So again, Kathy was not here. Hambot was not even on this machine. I put
that's
it
our
on
whole-
here. I put
that's
it
our
on
whole
here a few
problem.
minutes ago.
Yeah.
But we saw him. We saw him answer. That was K9HVM. We'll send you a multimeter out in the mail in the next couple of days. Give me a few days to get it out there.
And is it $14.95 shipping and handling?
Yeah, it's
Hurry
going to
and
be 20. It's
Call in the next
well,
next
see,
30 seconds.
FedEx is going to be $24
Yeah,
to
minimum.
ship. Okay.
Minimum.
All right. Okay. Well, somebody said it might have been a multiple login, and it may have been. But you know what? We have a fix for that. I don't know if it was a multiple login or not, but our programmer's working on this, and our new version of Hambot will
be out
check for
next week.
multiple. Well, it's ready now. It's just
Okay.
like, I haven't tested it. It will check for multiple logins, and guess what? If you're multiple logged in, it's not even going to pick you anymore.
You're kicked out.
Yeah, it's going to do a lot of things, and so we're working on that. But hey, tonight this was kind of a dry run for us. I think I used probably an older version of Hambot. I had to put it on here and load it tonight. Hambot just, he hadn't been used.
But the strong survived. We made it
He hadn't
through.
been used in many months. But anyway, he's on there. Let's see. U.S. shipping is about $6. He said we'll get it. We'll get it somehow. Okay. Let me see. Let's scoot it in just a little. Yeah, we're through with Ham. You can go ahead and close Hambot out right now. Let me run this little video here real quick, and then I'll be back.
Don't forget about
Attention all hams.
Oh yeah,
Time to hit the
stand
airwaves.
by, Stephen.
Contest season is here. Grab your ICOM equipment and make as many contacts as you can this season. Good luck and let the competition begin. The real fun starts here with the revolutionary IC7300. This innovative HF transceiver has a compact design and high performance. It is perfect for contesters on the go. Features include RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3 color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. Push performance to the pinnacle with the IC7600. Following in the footsteps of ICOM's flagship radio, the IC7600 has an intuitive operation in the latest DSP technologies. It has digital IF filter, dual DSP, 5.8-inch ultra-wide TFT display, and a high-resolution real-time spectrum scope. Contesters raise the bar with the IC7851. Hear what others cannot hear with this HF through 50 megahertz transceiver. It has reciprocal mixing dynamic range, crystal clear LO design, spectrum scope, dual receivers, and digital voice recorder. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
All right, and we're back. Well, and we got Stephen. Stephen, stand by. We're not going to forget about you there. I think all that probably, most of the trouble was my fault tonight. The reason, I can't even explain what happened, but we did see, yeah, Kathy's not here. We did see a winner. Now, whether or not K9HVM got somehow logged out and he logged back in, he had to use a different name, I don't know.
Don't know.
We don't know, but we do have precautions being built to watch for that kind of stuff later. The internet's not perfect. Sometimes things happen. This is not the way tonight that it actually ran, that we want to run it, but we put it together very fast tonight, very quickly, and we ran it. And since he was logged in maybe twice, should we send him half the meter? What do you think?
Like just the leads?
Well, either the leads or
the leads of the box.
Either the leads of the unit.
One or the other.
Maybe take the battery. If I take the battery out and keep the leads, that ought to be worth half.
Sure.
We're going to give him the whole thing. We're going to give him the whole thing. K9 HVM won it. Hey guys, next time we do this, it'll be much more organized and much better. We got Stephen on the phone. Stephen, hey.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
So Stephen, what's your
How are
call?
you tonight? Oh, well, I just want to congratulate you gentlemen tonight and say congratulations to the winner there of the prize.
Okay.
I say keep the batteries.
Keep the batteries?
Keep the batteries.
we'll give him.
No, hey, Hambot for president. How about that?
Hambot.
Flaws, I'm sure he's better than what we got currently.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Hambot for president.
Exactly.
I wonder if it's too. We can do it. Okay, guys, we're going to do a write-in. Here's the only thing we can do. We run out of time. We're 3 weeks to the election. We normally don't get political in here, but if you think Hambot would make a good president, write him in. November the 8th, just write Hambot in.
Can you get him in the debate, the next one?
There you go.
I doubt it. So, Steve, Steve, are you a ham? Are you a ham, Steve?
Yes, sir.
You are. What's your call?
Quicksilver, actually.
Quicksilver.
Yeah, I'm the only one that's got it around here, so.
Okay.
But I was actually, I was gonna say I started off at a young age on CB radio about the age of 5. My father taught me the ins and outs. He was an on-the-road truck driver. And then kind of spurred my interest from there, and worked my way up. I'd really like to get me one of them nice transceivers you guys were showing there on the show a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Well.
Yeah.
Okay. So. And hey, where are you located?
Flint, Michigan, actually.
Flint. Okay. Flint,
yeah,
Michigan.
I hate to incriminate myself, but I actually have a little pirate radio going out here.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We won't come looking for you. We're glad you joined us tonight.
Right.
Yeah, glad you joined us tonight.
Absolutely. I want to say, congratulations. I'm definitely subscribing. I would recommend everybody else that's watching tonight subscribe. And seems like this is going to be a really, really great thing you guys got going here.
Well, okay. Well, hope you keep coming back. I suppose that you probably just is this the first night that you've joined us?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Cool. Well, anyway, we're glad to have you on here. We have a lot of different guests from around the world, and I think we cover a lot of interesting things. Tonight we had one guest the whole hour, but some shows we have multiple guests on here. So,
like I say, I'll definitely keep coming back.
Okay. Well, all right, Stephen, thank you so much for calling.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. And again, subscribe and Hambot for President 2016.
All right, very
you
good.
go.
Thank you. All right, 73. We'll
blessed night.
see you later. All right.
Thanks for calling.
Can you find a button over there? You just move that laptop down a little so you can get to it. There you go. All right, so K9HVM, I guess you're good in QRZ. I need to make sure I have your address. So if you're not good in QRZ, we got a problem. Unless
That's
you
right.
contact me in the next 48 hours, or
Yeah.
hey,
That's exactly
you
right.
may not get the battery in a lead. So I'll just put it that way. We gave away a prize one time a couple years ago, and couldn't find the guy. I traced him down on the internet. He worked for some TV station out west, and I just found his name. But it took me weeks and weeks to find him. You figure if a guy wins a nice prize, like a antenna analyzer or something,
Sure.
he'd want to make sure that you know how to get in touch with him.
I'd drive all the way over here for that.
Yeah. Hey, Walter's my neighbor. He lives down the street from me here. He's a ham, KJ4 UCE. And we got him back on the air here this past, I guess, summer.
It's been almost a year. It was last fall.
Has it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we put him up the antenna's kind of a stealthy antenna. It's kind of hidden. When I walk by his house, I can't find it. It's just it's an L, inverted L. It goes up probably 40 feet in the air and makes a turn and goes out to another tree. And we put a little SG237 antenna analyzer right under the edge of the roof and hooked the wire to it. And man, I think that's one of the best antenna configurations you can get. You can buy GRVs and you can buy double bazookas and you can buy this and you can buy that. But the thing about what we did for you, all you do is hit the key on that transmitter, and within a couple milliseconds, it tunes that thing down to a 1-to-1 SWR.
Absolutely.
Anywhere on the band,
Yeah.
And it is so cool to have that antenna tuner out at the antenna. A lot of people put antenna tuners in the house at the radio, and you're tuning usually the coax, unless you're bringing open feed in. So you don't really want to tune the coax from the station end, guys. That just not very effective or efficient. Let me mention WBCQ again. If you guys want to get on WBCQ, Alan Weiner is still running a special. He'll give you airtime for $25 an hour. You won't find it that cheap anywhere on any station anywhere. $25 an hour, you can have your own shortwave station on, and we'll put you in contact with Robert up there, and Robert will get your audio. Either you can send him a CD, you can send them an email with attachments. They can connect you. You can use a phone, however you want to. They can get you into the shortwave transmitter. So $25 an hour. Just send an email to WBCQ@WBCQ.com, and you can get on the famous international shortwave WBCQ 93. I'll say 9330, but they have other frequencies, 5130. And 7490, I believe, and a couple other frequencies too. So they'll tell them where you might put yourself. All right, so it's 9:30. Okay, South. Hey, we're solid copy on 9330 down in South Mississippi.
Very good.
It's 9:30. This is about the time we turn the radio transmitter off. Robert usually pipes us in for an hour and a half. So it's past our time there. I don't know if Robert has cut us off or not, but Robert, thank you very much for putting us on tonight. You can go ahead, and the show's about over. The formal part of the show's about over, and now we're going to talk about, no telling what we're going to talk about.
Now to the disorganized part.
This is the disorganized part. You had the semi-disorganized part with ham bottom a minute ago, and then the organized part was the first.
This disaster.
First part of the show.
First part, Carlos, he was rocking. He was doing very well.
Carlos was organized.
He had it going on.
That whole group was organized out there.
They got it going.
So, yeah, we're in Studio B tonight. If anybody can tell us where we are by looking at our picture there, might give them a hint. If you lean over a little bit, can they see lean this way. Lean over this way. There's a little, well, you can't see it. There's a little gold building down here. Anyway. See if you can guess where we are tonight. Robert says he's extended it. Boy, nice guys up there.
Wow.
Robert has
Thank
put
you.
it, man. If you're listening on shortwave, guys, send us a signal report to Tom at W5QB, .com. I'd love to hear from you. And let me see, I'm going to put something on the screen here. Let's see. I was going to put a scroll. Okay. There we are. Put the 9330 underneath there.
Very good.
Maybe those watching can send a signal report in. We've had reports. We've got a few regulars on here down in Costa Rica and over in the UK that occasionally send us notes. Let's see. N3, RRZ, he's streaming. I don't know what he's streaming. Let's see, heading into the chaos zone.
That could be true.
Yeah. Well, you guys, we normally do a hangout. In fact, let's go ahead and do our hangout. Now, what hangout does? It allows up to 10 people to join our show here at the end. It's very informal. We're sitting around the coffee table. You can throw your feet up on the coffee table. You can drink Coca-Cola.
Whatever you want to do.
You can drink Coke, you can drink coffee, you can drink water. All around our table here, this is a PG show.
Absolutely.
And we can take up to 10 people at a time. So we're going to give you a link to click on. And can somebody, you see that link up here? You see that link right there? I think there's a link up here. Can you copy that? You know how to copy that? Oh, wait, the link. Sure, there it is right there.
The link is right.
Never mind. Okay, somebody out there, if you will, send the link out.
I just fly. I don't know anything about it. Wait a minute.
Yeah, Walter's getting it. He's getting a link.
Oh,
okay.
this ought to be good now.
And then right click and then copy.
Oh, is that how you do it? All right.
Yeah, then copy. All right, and then click down in the chat room
Down
box. Yep, and then do a right click paste.
Oh my goodness, hang on.
There we go. Hang on. Okay, there you go. Now hit
And
it.
now you gotta send it.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
Well, miracles never cease.
Okay, we just sent the link to Hangout. I hope Walter copied the entire address, or
I hope that's it.
we'll find out.
We're gonna find out shortly.
Let me get on Hangout here, and we'll see how many people want to join us here. So let me bring you guys up. If I can click a few things here. We've got to quit that one, and then we've got to open this one. We'll open the phone lines too in case you want to call in on the phone line. Here we go. Go and hang out. Gonna work in a minute. All right.
You
So
already got a crowd in there.
let me see now how I can get you guys on the show here.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
All
Let me.
right.
What's up, Tom?
Hey guys, let me see if I can get your picture on the show. Hang on, stand by. Let me see here. Maybe will I do it? Yeah, that'll almost do it.
Hello.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we're up here. I got me and you in here. Okay,
There you
there we go.
There's Jeff right there.
There's
Big-
Jeff.
big picture.
There's Jeff.
There's Jeff.
I need a bassoon.
A bassoon.
Yeah,
We got
what's
Jeff. We got Bill. We got another Bill. What Bill's that? That's not the same Bill I know, is it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you had the light off on the front, and I saw a different background. But I saw
There he is.
right when I said that, I saw the smoke. I knew it was you. I knew it was you.
Yeah, back in the garage.
Are you out in
So-
exile tonight?
Yeah. Well, I see you getting the insulation in there for the winter.
Yeah.
All right.
My unfinished garage.
All right. I don't remember the exact name here, but I see Mackinut, whatever his name is. He's in here.
Bank.
Mackinut, you there? No, he's not talking to us. And Don, there, Papa Doc joined us.
There's Doc.
Papa Doc joined us here. Hey, Bill, did you, Bill William out in Montana? Is that right? Yeah. Hey, did you try to pop out tonight?
What? What was that?
Did you try to pop out tonight? The video pop out?
Yeah, it worked fine.
I noticed tonight it had some writing and text across the top about YouTube. Was that always on there? I thought maybe something got corrupted.
I don't think so. I mean, it looked fine to me.
Well, the reason I said that, I tried to put a web statistic, counter on there, and it didn't work. And then later today, I was trying the video pop out, and it wouldn't pop out. Usually, when I try something like that, it screws something up. So I went back and I put your code back in. I thought I had it right, but when it popped out, I don't remember seeing all the writing above the pop out. It says YouTube and the URL and whatever it said. It seemed like to me it was just the video pop out before. Now I've got that writing above it.
It looked fine. It looked fine to me.
But I may be wrong. I may be right, but I may be wrong.
Exactly right.
Can anybody name that song? It wasn't a song.
That's usually what my wife tells me. You are wrong.
That's a Billy Joel song.
Billy, that's right. Okay.
I want to know who Wayne is.
Where
Hey, Wayne.
Wayne? Oh, Wayne. That's a gun guy. That's my gun guy buddy. Wayne up in Canada.
I'm not in Canada.
Oh, I thought you were in Canada.
I'm a Wisconsinite.
Oh, are you?
Remember my call, Tom? That's why I made the joke in the chat earlier. K9 WKJ.
There you go.
Okay. I guess I was confusing your location with the other guys that used to get in Hangout. All right. Wisconsin.
PMT, I imagine you were confusing me with.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Hey, I saw your, thanks for the email last week with the picture of listening to 9330. I was interested.
Wait, are they powder coated slugs?
Those are powder coated, yes. Shake and bake.
My God, love it.
And look how big those things are. Some of those things right there are about 2 feet across. That red one is.
They're really heavy.
He puts that in a cannon. Well, Doc, welcome, Doc. Were you on here last week?
I think I bowed out just at the end of the show last week.
Did you? Okay. All right. Billy Joe. Yeah, I was reading the chat room.
Having some problems every time I log on. It'll play for a few minutes and then it goes to some other thing. It's like it's rewound, and so the only way I can get on is to go in and clear my cookies and my call history and all that.
Wow, we'll have to look into that. I haven't noticed that. I did a little testing day and played it some, but we'll look for that. Okay, we got some noise coming in on somebody. Let's see if I can catch
Somebody's spraying those slugs. It sounds like.
Who's that?
There's auto gain control. Mike, talk.
I can't tell where.
Which one are you talking to?
You.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Somebody's air compressor got loose.
Mike.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything here. You getting static from me in here?
Right. Anytime you don't talk, your auto gain control comes up, and it's
yeah, that's what it is. You start hearing a lot of white noise, kind of getting louder and louder in the background.
Gee, I got no. I don't know what would be doing that.
Yeah,
I hear nothing here. There's nothing here.
Even heard somebody flush the toilet upstairs.
Yeah.
Well, hey Doc, let me report to Doc.
Well, let me log out and I'll try logging back in.
Well, no, you're fine now. All right, I got to. I want everybody in the chat room, or I want everybody on video right now to report to Doc. Now, Doc, last week I got my flu shot. I got it. Didn't hurt. What about you, Bill? Flu shot?
Heck no.
No.
I've got to get mine in the next week or so. So.
I got my flu shot well back in the first week of September. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah, I got mine 2 weeks ago. So I'm
all right, good. Well, we're gonna have to work on William.
I associate with other humans, so I don't need a flu shot.
Well,
there's no other humans up in the Uper.
Now
and I don't make house calls.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just wanted you to know that.
Hold on.
Okay, Robert's closing down. Old Sparky. He's closing down. 9330 Old Sparky. Thanks, Robert.
I need to ask Don a question.
Go for it.
Okay, Don, so, I mean, your opinion as a physician, I mean, shouldn't everyone get a flu shot? It does minimize the risk of minimize the risk for the rest of us contracting the flu. Am I right?
That is correct. You're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting those people that you come in contact with.
Yeah, there's some people at work that insist that they won't get one, they never have, and I try to, convince them that they're wrong. Well, they say, well, it just makes things worse. Well, they're so far from the facts.
It's your civic duty.
Yeah, I tell you what, I got my shot last week. I didn't even feel her stick me. It never got sore. I was beginning to think that they just charged me and didn't even stick me. So I went back up here, and I told her, I don't think I got it.
You wanted one that hurt.
But you wanted one that
hurt. Stick you in the other arm.
What people tell me all the time is, I got a flu shot back in 1958, and it made me sick, and so I'm not going to ever have that again. And there's nothing alive in that shot that you can catch. And so I don't know where that gets started, but, you're not going to get sick from the flu vaccine. You might get sick if you don't get it.
You might also just get sick because you're going to get a cold anyway while that was going on.
Exactly.
Well,
and it doesn't protect against every virus that you're going to come in contact with, but the worst one, it will. And about 30,000 people die every year from the flu.
Yeah. Well,
it bothers me that I can't convince people at work to get the flu shot.
Well, I don't know about all you young guys, but they tell me they make me take a high dose one.
Well, you're more likely to have, some malaise or some low grade temp with that, but it's still not. There's nothing in it that you can catch.
It didn't bother me at all. I get the high dose. They tell you ahead of time now. It's recommended we give you the high dose. I say, okay, just go ahead and just shoot it in here, man.
I don't know what they stuck with me because my wife got one, and she went to the Walmart pharmacy, and they gave her a senior dose. And I got mine a week later, and she said, "Did you ask for the senior dose?" And I said, "I didn't say anything. They just stuck me, so I don't know which one they gave me."
It's minimally more effective, but not a whole lot.
But why would that stronger or senior dose give you that malaise? The first time I got the flu shot 20 years ago, I experienced malaise. It wasn't bad, but I did experience some.
It's got more. It's got more of the antigen in it.
Ian's got some bullets there.
So why does that make you feel like crap the next day? When it's.
I don't know. I just take the regular dose, and it's never bothered me at all. I take it every year.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to ask the pharmacist because I got Medicare, so maybe they just assumed they get the senior dose and gave it, and she didn't say anything. So.
Could be.
Yeah, well, Teresa there, she said she hadn't had a flu shot since she don't even remember. Now, Teresa helped us out at Huntsville Hamfest. She came from Texas and helped us. But look, if you're not gonna get your flu shot, I don't know if I want you around us, Teresa. So you better get that flu shot if you want to stay employed with W5KB.com.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that income.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Hate to have that on your resume.
We're thinking about giving all our employees a big raise, or actually a bonus.
You gonna double their pay?
About Christmas time.
Yeah, there you go.
The same Christmas bonus we got last year.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna double it from last year.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, man.
Let's see, 0 times 2.
Yeah.
Let me get my calculator out.
I bet it comes out the same.
All right. Well, hey, I thought the show went pretty good tonight. Those guys, Carlos, they got their act together, don't they?
They got quite the operation.
They really do. I'd like to get our ACS director to look at that video, and there's some of those things that they've done that would be applicable to our situation here.
The I don't know, the software or the format they're putting all their data in, it's the same format that I guess it's the standard that FEMA or whoever uses. I saw that in their presentation. So I guess if you plan ahead and do everything like that.
Geographical Information System.
What was that?
It's called GIS, the Graphical Information System. It's very commonly used.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it does detail per house. They really have to keep things updated.
Yeah.
But that's what the fire departments use, and everybody uses that.
Yeah, every municipality has that just about.
That's cool. All right, we got somebody else in here showing some bullets. Who is that? Ian?
Ian was showing some of the expensive, silly things. He must have more money than I do.
Ian, where are you located?
I'm actually from Detroit.
You need it up there.
You need them up there.
Yeah. Detroit.
Yeah, cost is not an issue up there, man.
No. Availability is the only thing. You gotta have them.
Hey, honey, can you bring me 1,000 rounds back when you come back from Walmart?
Yeah. Talking about those powder coat rounds, I just figured I had to show mine off.
Yeah, wow.
I like them. How do you do that?
What, the powder?
You just cast the bullets and then powder coat them?
Yeah, those are, it's a process called shake and bake. I don't use a powder coat gun. I just put them in a Cool Whip container with some airsoft BBs and rattle them around a little bit and bake them. That's it.
Nice.
Cool.
Wow.
Look kind of like an ice cream cone or something.
That's about customizing.
I thought those were crayons there.
Yeah, look like crayons. Yeah. I like the little orange crayon right there. Now, are all those the same? No, you got different caliber there, right?
Yeah, there's the orange ones are a 38 caliber semi-wad cutter. The green one that's tucked in behind there is a 40 caliber flat nose. It's actually more of a semi-wad cutter. Those blue ones are 200 grain 45 caliber semi-wad cutter, and the red ones are also a 200 grain 45 caliber semi-wad cutter.
45, yeah.
But wait a second, can I ask you? You say they're powder coated, but are you using true powder for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you just stick them in a Cool Whip container with some
and shake them up. Yep, it builds up enough static charge for it to stick.
Okay,
Yeah.
you got some BBs in there. Is that what you're saying? That just something to make sure the powder mixes around.
Yeah, you can do it without the BBs too. It'll still work, but not as well in my experience.
So you just pick them up and shove them in your oven.
Do the BBs?
Yep, I set them on a sheet of parchment paper on an old cookie sheet and bake them up. It only takes 15, 16 minutes, and they're done.
Do the BBs come out powder coated?
The BBs actually don't.
I guess because they're metal.
They're charged the opposite of the lead.
Yeah.
And the powder doesn't really stick to them. It just keeps it moving around.
So what does that do to the barrel after you've shot a few of them?
Keeps it clean. Have you ever shot lead bullets with conventional lube?
I know.
Dirty.
Walter.
Yeah, these you don't have. I haven't cleaned a barrel for over a year. I quit cleaning my guns. I just wipe them off, throw a little oil on them.
Well, Walter here's Walter's putting together an AR-15, right? Yeah. You're building an AR-15.
This guy's shooting powder coat out of them too. The big deal now is, of course, the 300 blackout, right. And a lot of guys cast for that because it's low velocity, so it works wonderful with cast bullets.
So you can actually use those slugs. I thought they were just for display. I mean,
that's all I shoot.
You're shooting powder coated slugs.
Yeah.
So when you load those, I mean, they're bigger than slugs.
I missed your question because my phone decided to answer a question I didn't ask.
Oh, that's Siri.
Thank you, Siri.
Shut up.
Hey, Google. Okay, Google, take a picture.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, the question is when you load these things, I mean, doesn't a lot of that powder just get scraped off in the loader?
Oh no.
Oh
no, it maintains integrity. If you're doing something to your bullets that scratches them that bad, you're doing something wrong to begin with.
Well, I just thought that the powder would be adding diameter to the bullet.
Well, you size them afterwards. You have to size them sometimes, so size them afterwards, just like that.
Interesting.
Those are sized. The ones you're looking at are sized.
Okay.
Well, those are cast bullets.
I'm not an aficionado on it.
Yeah. No, those ones you're looking at there are already sized. The 45s are at 452. I tend to run them everything a little bit big anyway, which is fine. The 38s are probably at 359 or 360, and that 40 caliber one there is probably at 400 2000s. I wish I actually had a bigger mold right now too.
It just looks like that. The one in the front just looks bigger because of the powder coat.
Hey, if you don't size it, will it still go through the barrel once you pull a trigger?
Sure. Absolutely. If you can get it to chamber, it's going to go. It's going to shoot fine.
Okay.
I hear, oh no, it's 2000's too big. You'll put your eye out. Oh, right. If you can get it to chamber, it'll be fine.
Are these anything like those? Who is it? Federal or somebody's making a synthetic coated bullet?
But it's polystyrene, so that's synthetic.
So it's basically the same thing.
Hey, can you coat those things with poison?
I could make you some poison darts.
Yeah, I'll make a poison slug, and shoot somebody with it. I mean,
you hit somebody else.
That way you could use smaller lead. I mean, 22, 223. I mean, something small. Coat it with poison.
Sure.
I can't even afford to shoot 22 because it costs more to shoot 22 than it does for me to cast and load 45 ACP.
Wow. What are you gonna do with your AR-15? What's that shit? Those are
223. It'll shoot a 5.56 or 223.
3s.
5.5. Never issued shells like that to me.
Yeah.
That was just plain old lead. Hollow jackets. Steel.
So how's that work, man? Will that shoot a NATO round?
The 5.56 NATO.
The 5.56 NATO,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
5.56.
And the interesting
Squirrel
part
gun.
is, he was talking about that 300 blackout with a different barrel, and you can use the same bolt carrier group and the whole bit, and it'll shoot that 300 blackout. Just gotta have a different chamber size.
So let me ask you a bullet question here. Can the enemy shoot our bullets, or can we shoot the enemy's bullets? Don't it go one way or the other? I mean, didn't it used to?
Isn't it hard to shoot another enemy's bullet?
Well, I mean, if you capture the ammunition, from the enemy, I think we designed something.
The Russians could shoot ours. We couldn't shoot theirs.
Okay, yeah. I knew it.
Actually fire a 30-06 shell in a 7.62 by 54 gun. It'll load and you can fire it, but we can't fit that in ours. They did that on purpose.
Grab that phone. So I guess we were stupid to make ours where they can shoot ours, but we can't shoot theirs.
Our handgun ammo, everybody uses 9mm, so that don't matter. No.
Hello, who's on the phone? Who's on the phone?
I think Steve.
Large pepperoni. Can also get a large order of bread.
Oh, large order.
And 2 liter of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, you can get that. Now, would you like it delivered?
No, I'll pick it up.
I think you like fries with that.
I think that's Quicksilver. What are you doing?
Yeah, wait right there. It's on the way.
Yeah, they hung up.
Well, that's because it was Quicksilver.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, nice guy.
He's all right. I think he maybe would want to get a ham license someday. He may be working on it.
Well, I think he should.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's interested. Just need to figure out how to do it. We can point him in the right direction.
All right. Well, tonight we discussed flu shots and bullets.
Same thing.
What else we got?
I
want to ask William if he worked JOTA last weekend.
I didn't get on till Sunday night, and I heard one CQ for it, and they didn't come back to me. That's a bit the weekend. Didn't get to it.
Oh, I was busy doing a bunch of stuff.
Now, how long is that still? JOTA still on the air? Jamboree on the air?
For the weekend, the weekend of the 14th to the 16th. So it finished up Sunday night.
Oh, bummer.
But yeah, it's a pretty big activity. I think a lot of people registered for the event, and the times I did listen, there were definitely a lot of groups on.
Very cool. All right, gentlemen, it's close to my bedtime. It's 11 o'clock here on the East Coast, so let's say 7-3. Good evening.
All right. We'll see you.
And Quicksilver, if you're listening.
All right, Jeff, 7-3.
Work on getting a FCC license. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Then you can play around like the big boys.
Yeah, like us.
Like the rest of us idiots.
We're just big.
I'm pretty bad.
Spend all your money on ham radio equipment.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.
All right.
Just as long as you leave it in the will, right?
There you go.
Yeah, you're safe, Tom.
All right. That's good. All right. All right. Oh, well. I got the phone number still up. Let me move that phone number where I can see it a little better in case somebody wants to call again. Let's see if I can move that number.
Yeah, I got another antenna project.
What's your antenna project?
Well, we had a high winds here last Thursday night, and my rotor went in half, and my tri-bander antennas toppled down.
Oh, no.
So,
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I know. Well, lucky I got a 10-foot tripod on the roof of my house, and the iGame Thunderbird, it actually slid down the backside. It slid down the two guy wires from the bottom. They were tied to the bottom of the rotor, and the boom back end just landed on the roof. So kind of shook the house a little bit. So everything's in one piece up there. There's no damage or anything. It's just it's sitting at, well, I could work moon boats with it right now the way it's at.
A little heart project going on there at the house.
Yeah.
One of the corollaries of a field day is that a 10-element beam at field day will become a 9 1/2 element beam.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but ain't one thing, it's always another. We just heard this got thud about 10 o'clock in the evening last Thursday with the high winds blowing. My wife says, "What just shook the house?" I said, "Let me go look." Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, well, I got a vertical up, and I got some dipoles up, so it'll get me through the winter. I don't think I'm going to mess with it till spring. I'll just get the tri-brander off the roof and stored.
Oh, find you a warm day and get up there and fix it.
Yeah, probably won't. I got to go to North Dakota later this week. Won't be back till next week. It didn't work, so.
Well, it might be cold up here.
You know, we get that stuff up here. Tom's not familiar with down there called snow.
Oh, we get some big snow. Sometimes, nearly every year, we'll get a quarter of an inch.
Absolutely. Just brings the city to a standstill.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, when we get a quarter of an inch here, boy, I tell you, everybody gets to stay home.
They do.
You know, first you got to run to the Kroger and you got to buy all the bread and the milk.
That's right, 500 loaves of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got about 3 inches of snow the other week already.
Okay.
But it's gone.
Guys, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be over at our house in North Carolina. We might get a little snow over that way, but.
Boy, we got a washout. Is the road going? Yeah, we got a major rain last night, and some of our roads are washed out. We're just looking at my news. Holy cow. That is one big washout on one of our county roads. Oh,
well, I wish we'd get some rain here. It's dry as a chip.
Holy cow, is it? We got one of the major US 41s shut down with flooding, and that's one of the county roads off to the side. Ain't nothing they're going to be able to fix overnight with that. Right there.
A couple of weeks ago, we had about 8 inches in a few hours span. That didn't go well.
Yeah.
Things disappeared.
Yeah. This wasn't even a bridge. We just had the big culverts under the road through the river. And,
looks like a bowling pin factory.
It does.
Over there.
I like that picture of all those
roads. Those are passing by on the conveyor.
Oh, wow. Hey, Bill, up there and wherever you're up there, you're in Massachusetts. Bill's not talking much.
You're quiet tonight.
He's got to learn how to jump in here.
Who can get a word in edgewise?
Well, you just got to jump in, man. You got to jump in and take it.
Kind of like 75 meters.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Anyways, Tom, I want you to know I posted some pictures from that flea market there.
I saw that.
In Deerfield, New Hampshire. And Katie was there. I missed her, though.
Okay.
Joe. Let's see, Joe, the kit man there.
Joe, K0NEB.
Eisenberg?
Yeah. Joe K0NEB
Yeah, Joe
was there.
Eisenberg was there. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, and we did some exams up there, and...
Okay. Well, I knew Joe was going up there. I think he went with Marty. KC1 chicken with fries. I didn't know Katie was up there.
I saw him. He was hiding from me though because I had my camera out. So.
Okay.
The rascal. He don't like to be photographed.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you, old Marty's a pretty sharp guy. To be 14, he's going on 30 with a PhD, but he's all set up. When I'm not here, Marty has all the software, and we've already tested it. He's already put together a whole studio up here. He can bring this show up at his house and bring in guests like I do. So if I'm not here one night, Marty can bring the show up.
Wow.
Hey Tom, I don't remember if you saw in the chat what happened to me here recently.
No, what happened?
My local amateur radio club railroaded me into the presidency.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
I'm still sore from the rail speed there.
I saw it. Yeah, I was reading in the chat room a while ago. Yeah. Well, we had a local ham club in I need to renew, but Walter I think is a member of it, and we opened a new ham club up here last year, and we elected a president that wasn't there that night. He wasn't there that night.
Yeah,
that's why it pays to go to those meetings.
So that's pretty typical.
Well, I guess I looked at it this way. I've been a ham for I figured it out the other day. I've only been a ham for 20 years.
Uh-huh.
and I've never done anything useful. So since I'm forcibly retired now, it's probably time for me to start giving back a little bit. So I thought I'd take that spot and see what they made me do it, but that's okay. That's okay.
Hey, you can go in there now and give orders and everything, man. You can just tell them how.
I told them, I said, you have no idea what delegation really means till you get me involved.
Tell them how it's going to be.
The President Association, the president's the easy part. You just kind of run the meeting, you have everybody else do stuff.
We got a phone call.
That's right. But that's why I was asking Carlos about the size of their club there and how many people lived in the town. His club's actually smaller than ours.
Okay, you're good.
But we don't have but we got nothing, I don't think, compared to what they got going on for the emergency stuff. It was amazing what they've done.
Yeah, who's on the telephone? Who is on the telephone?
Hello,
Domino's Pizza. Take your order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like your specials tonight?
Special orders don't upset us. Who's on the telephone?
Probably a 1-900.
Well, nobody.
Number.
Well,
It's still running.
Well, I don't need any pizza enough. I've got enough M&Ms to hold me for a while.
Yeah, I don't see
How do you do that?
My daughter sent me my birthday present 2 weeks ago. Peanut M&Ms and plain M&Ms. You know, guys gotta like it. 3 pounds of this.
Oh man. Hey, let me tell you something. Oh man.
6 pounds of M&Ms.
Oh, let me tell you. Hey, I got to report to Doc. Doc, I've been on my diet. 3 meals a day instead of 7. Okay, that was the first thing. Plus, we've been walking 1 to 2, about 2 miles a night or a day, and I've lost 25 pounds, man.
Great.
Really? Awesome, Tom.
I lost 25 pounds, but I really want. I did. The grandkids brought me some M&Ms the other day, and I did eat a bag of M&Ms. That's the first candy I've had, I think, since I went on this thing about 3 months ago.
Well, I'll share this 3 pounds with you here.
Oh man, you're making. Hey, let me tell you, my wife used to keep our pantry. Even right now, it is full of Baby Ruths and brownies and candy bars and cookies and all that stuff. I haven't. They're still in here. I haven't.
It's probably parked right next to the life insurance policy. Tom.
Well, maybe. Yeah. I haven't touched them. I looked up there today, and there was this cupcake, Hostess cupcake. Boy, it looked really good up there on that top shelf. But so far I haven't reached up there to get any in 3 months. But you know what? I might get me one tonight. Just kind of a treat,
Plus, she's not here.
She's not here tonight, so she's probably watching.
How's the peanut butter addiction doing?
That's what I'm saying. I cut down from 7 meals to 3. When I said 7 meals, that was maybe a peanut butter and a half sandwich. 3 times a day, plus 3 meals, plus
That's not bad.
Something else. But I will have peanut butter sandwich now. But I might just have one sandwich maybe for a supper or a meal. And it's kind of like a treat. Man, I get to have me a peanut butter sandwich.
There you go.
I take it in place of a meal. Man, I'm getting hungry right now.
I don't know if that's a good meal substitute. In fact, I'm quite sure it isn't.
Oh, it is. I think if you ask Doc, he'll tell you all the vitamins and proteins in it.
As long as you get the chunky peanut butter with it.
No, not the chunky.
That's more filling.
That's the one with the marshmallows?
Not the chunky. No, mine has to be creamy Peter Pan plain.
At least it's Peter Pan, but
that's my standard lunch.
Yeah, see, there you go. You got Doc right there. Doc eats peanut butter for lunch, and he smokes cigars. He smokes cigars at night, so you can tell.
2 tablespoons of peanut butter and some high fiber bread. One piece.
There you go. You need to follow Doc's advice.
I just eat apples, core and all, and try to skip the bread mostly. And if I have the peanut butter, have it with some venison sausage or something.
I did have an apple. I had 2 apples. They were small. I had 2 apples last night for a snack. But my doctor told me, you need to get off the white, the white bread, go to the wheat bread.
Yep.
Now I don't know about that. Some people tell me the wheat bread's just as bad as the white bread. What about it, Doc?
Well, I think the calorie count's about the same, but you get more fiber in the dark bread.
You get more what?
Fiber.
Oh, I thought it had something to do with making sugar. Is what it was explained to me.
It's about the same calorie count.
Oh man, I need to go back to my white bread because it sure tastes better.
You're getting cheated.
I'm getting cheated, man.
You and your Wonder Bread, Tom. Ugh.
Wonder Bread, boy, I tell you what, man. Wonder Bread, a fresh loaf of Wonder Bread, and a fresh jar of Peter Pan.
I used to make
There you go.
all my own sourdough bread. I baked a new loaf every day, every other day, and I haven't done that in a year and a half now, not once.
Just remember my motto, Tom.
What's that?
I can resist anything but temptation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't even think I've eaten any real red meat or anything in 3 months. I haven't had a hamburger or a steak or anything like that. I'm kind of set right now on like a chicken breast. Now I will eat French fries with it, chicken breast and French fries.
Well, that's the problem.
So I'll order a you know, bring me the chicken sandwich, but you know, keep everything except the chicken, and that's what they bring me. But hey, it must be working if I lost 25 pounds, you know.
Yeah, you can actually tie your shoes with your breath now, right?
Check.
Well,
Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh yeah.
Finally! I've been trying for the past 30 minutes to get through to everybody.
Well, hey, I yelled at you a couple of times, Mackin. I didn't remember what it was. All I see is Mackin something. I don't know if it was Mackin Nut.
Mackintrasher, yeah.
Mackintrasher, yeah. I yelled at you.
I was here about a month ago.
Yeah,
and, spoke about some stuff to you.
Yeah.
See, my problem, Tom, with going on is I played my first league hockey game again Sunday night in league, and for some reason after the summer off, that my arms have gotten shorter and my legs longer when I'm trying to lace up those skates, trying to reach down for them.
Right.
Well, I don't tie shoes anymore. All my shoes have shoelaces, but I make them slip on. You ever have
Velcro them over?
No, you just tie them where you can slip them on and off.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Well, now, I don't remember. Mackintrasher, where are you located? I forget.
I'm in Warren, Ohio.
Warren, Ohio. Okay.
Yeah, the last time I signed in,
Yeah.
I mentioned that I had purchased, but I have since received a ICOM PCR 1000 radio, and what a great radio it is, although it's limited by the software that I use. It's only as good as the software that uses it, but I'm still looking around for that. I don't know if it's both great and sad news to mention this, but recently someone that my sister knows through her church had passed away, who happened to be an amateur radio operator.
Uh-huh.
And their family happened to have a yard sale of all of his stuff.
Wow.
Well, a good chunk of his stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually managed to acquire for $200 an ICOM IC740 HF radio. And for an additional $150, I got a slew of other things, including a realistic DX300 receiver, which is both awesome and very strange receiver. A CD player that also somehow plays photo CDs that's still in the box, still wrapped in the foam, nothing taken out of it. This thing must have cost several $100 brand new, but I got it. Some really old ICOM HT radios, along with if I can, let me look at these. I got
I'm gonna guess they're an IC2A.
Yeah, 2ATs.
Yeah.
Actually, one is an IC2AT, one is an IC4AT.
Okay.
2 meter and 440. Awesome.
Cool.
So, and I got a charger to charge the batteries with, as well as something to actually, I just dropped it, to put in AA batteries into to use with those radios.
Right.
Oh, I got so much great stuff. I got a, what is this thing? Heathkit sine and square audio generator.
That's cool. Yeah.
What else did I get? Little external speaker, which I just bought an external speaker for the ICOM PCR 1000, and here I just got one for it. It's like I didn't have to spend the $12. Little multimeter, let's see, I got I don't know what the company is. It's a big E with a some sort of symbol inside the E on the left side. I can't make it out, but it's a 1.3 gigahertz frequency counter. What else did I get? So much good stuff. A code oscillator.
Yeah.
A 4-to-1 Balun. I actually managed to snag one of those, and I don't know exactly what this is. given my low standing in the amateur radio hierarchy.
Describe it to us.
I got a Palomar RX noise bridge.
Okay.
Don't know what that is. Still in the box. And I guess you can call it the crown jewel of the entire thing. I got a Tandy TRS-80 color computer.
Oh,
wow, man.
You're in a club.
Trash Eddie, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I got it. Not only did I have the computer, but it actually came with several cartridges. One being a audio spectrum analyzer, since the guy was a big audiophile.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of music making program. It just had cartridges I'd never seen before, and they came with the manuals, and it came with the original booklet for making your own codes, and it came with the service manual.
That's
I got all sorts of great stuff with this.
Well,
Plus,
you could probably turn that on eBay for enough money to get an actual good new 2-meter radio.
I came across a number of things, as well as an up-to-date 2016 repeater directory. I got that. Old Sony mini disc player. What else did I get?
For the silent keys, right?
What's that?
Let's hear it for the silent keys, right?
Did you thank him?
Oh, yeah.
I got some silent key stuff here too.
Hey, even if I became a silent key, all I can hope for is that the stuff that goes to someone, I only hope that it's not just sold by the relatives, but actually goes into the hands of an enthusiastic amateur radio operator and somebody who loves this stuff. I love this stuff.
Well,
the things that I came across are great.
Yeah, study and get your license and start using.
What's that?
I said study and get your license and get on there.
Oh yeah, I actually am motivated to get it.
It's so much easier nowadays than it was back in the older days. I mean, you don't even have to learn code anymore.
The 740 is a HF or ham band only, isn't it? Or is it general coverage?
As far as I know, 160 to 10 meters. It covers the whole thing.
Yeah, but is it in the ham bands only, or is it general coverage receiver in between?
It's from what I've seen, ham band only.
Could be.
Which is probably a blessing.
I'll take what I can get. Having only gotten back in amateur radio in the past couple months, I'll take what I can get. So, yeah, I now have a really awesome radio that I can't use. Yeah.
Well, you can be studied up for the technician license in about 2 days, and you can just find a test session and get her done.
We'll be doing a test session here. I'm a VE. We'll be doing one December, so if you're ready by that, you can just come up here to the UP and we'll test you.
Well, let me get to studying first and foremost. I actually came into a pretty big haul for only $350. Actually, part of me wants to get back on that receiver, but the receiver is really it's actually really strange. It's a receiver that does something I've never seen before in several ways. I don't know if anybody cares for me to explain it. I will if you want to.
Are you talking about the what is it, DX360 or?
It's the DX300.
300, okay.
Yeah, it has a kilohertz and megahertz dial, plus it has, let's see what it calls it again, a pre-selector band knob, which lets you tune it to different frequencies, and a pre-selector tune, which is really strange because when you tune it, it has like a, how do I explain it? There's a window right above the knob that when you tune it, it actually has a thing that scrolls up and down. And here's how it works. If you want to tune into a specific frequency, you select, you tune the pre-selector band, which is there's 6 different bands that you select.
Mm-hmm.
Then use the megahertz and kilohertz knobs to go to the frequency you want. Then you go to the pre-selector tune knob and you turn that to put it approximately in the range that you want, and you look at the signal strength knob to see that that you're getting the best reception.
Maximum.
And that's just the first. Yeah, it's something I haven't seen before, given that I'm such a youngin'. But another thing that's weird about it is that, let's say I'm at 2 megahertz. I scroll the kilohertz knob up until I reach 2.999 megahertz. If I go beyond that, the kilohertz numbers disappear because it's a digital display, and it lets me tune up a little bit, but not very much. And then if I want to go to the 3 megahertz, I have to turn the megahertz knob, and you'll see 2 megahertz. You'll turn it, it will disappear. Then you'll turn it again, it'll say 3 megahertz. But if I want to go to 3.0 megahertz, I got to turn the knob all the way back until it goes to 3.00 megahertz. It's something I've never seen before. It's strange. It works, definitely works, but it's something I've never seen before. So I don't know. Maybe it was because the radio was. I did some research on this radio, and it was made like 1983 to 1985, about that range.
Well,
so
that's pretty late model stuff. Yeah.
It's a new one.
Yeah, it's pretty new. 85.
New to you.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if it's old or just different.
It's different and old. It's cool, but different and old.
I'm gonna jump out. Good night.
Yeah, Doc. I probably ought to get off here too.
Yeah,
It's getting late. What about you?
Yep, I gotta get going in the
I got
morning.
up at 5:45 this morning to take a guy to the airport, so I'll.
Okay. I think Walter's fixed the bell out of here too, and it's 10:20. I need to. Yeah.
Thanks, Doc. Good night,
Doc.
7-3.
We'll see you, Doc.
I got to go too.
Okay, Bill. We'll see you, Bill, and Mac and Trash. We're not trying to run off on you, but we're all. It looks like we're all kind of bailing. It's getting pretty late here.
It's time to.
And there I put up the picture I sent you, Tom.
Yeah, I see that. Just real quick now. Real quick.
Pretty well nailed down. That's turning out to be a really good system for shortwave and ham listening.
All right.
It really worked out
You
well.
didn't tell me much in your thing.
No,
So tell me
like
what.
I said, we should just probably do a hangout sometime.
It's a Spectrum. It's a.
And I can show it live.
Defined radio.
Okay.
So we're on hangout right now. What kind of hardware goes with that?
Okay. Yeah, we can. If you got the time now, that's fine. I can. I'm not. And this computer is not set up to do it live.
Well, you can just tell me. Yeah.
This is just an RTL SDR dongle. That's all it is.
Oh, just a dongle. Okay.
With the dongle with an up converter.
You got an HF up converter on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
In my garage, 400 feet away.
Okay.
I know what that is. I know what the RTS is.
Yes.
They're advertising a lot of these SDRs now that you don't have to put the up converter on, but the sensitivity is so bad in them, they're almost useless down in the HF
Well,
range.
actually, it isn't the sensitivity that's so bad as they just get bombed by everything.
Right. Yeah.
I would never. I've done some of the direct sampling experimentation, and it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
The up converters. This up converter was made by SV1 AFN. His name is Makis, and he's in Greece. And it's much better than the Hammett Up, and it's much better than the Ranverter and the other ones I've messed with. And the software that I'm running is called Shiny SDR, and it's basically all the work's done server side on a machine out in that garage. And this is just a web browser, what you're seeing here.
When you say server side, will it run on a desktop?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's running in Core 2 Duo.
It should run on anything, really.
Yeah,
if it's,
it requires a little horsepower.
All right. Well, Kurt WA2JSG saying good night. Nice show. Enjoyed it from his motel room. Kurt, real quick, Kurt, I know you're coming over here to be in the area here next week. When you get over here, Kurt, give us a call. Come by and visit. Come by and set it on the show next week if you have time. See ya. Okay. Hey, I'll get back with you on the SDR later. I've got several dongles. The SDR, but I don't have an up converter or anything for them. So,
I mean, obviously playing VHF is really fun too. This software does VHF in HF and UHF just fine. You also notice if you look closely there, you'll see it even has a module that does DMR, D-Star, NXDN, and P25 decoding too.
Yeah, you said it did that. Yeah.
It does do that.
That's
and
cool.
I've had up to 12 receivers running in one spectrum of, one hunk of spectrum. Like I'll take our public service spectrum here and I'll drop all those DM or P25 receivers in there and I'll decode everybody's everything.
So is that big spike here? Was that 9330 that I was looking at?
That was the one that's tuned there. That's 9330.
Yeah,
the
with the
big
red-
spike is
So
not 9330.
were you hearing it? Were you hearing the station? A lot of people don't hear it very well. So
9330 doesn't come in that well up here. I'm just
Yeah.
too far north, I think.
I mean, it looks pretty strong there, though. Actually.
I was hearing it okay, but you see the great big spike with the yellow on it, with the orange and stuff. I don't even know what station that was. It was probably Brother Stare.
Oh, I thought that was. I thought that was 9330.
No, the gray, the where the receiver selected is 9330. You see the gray.
Is that the
gray
second?
bars
Is that
on
the second
top of that
peak?
one on the left.
Is that the second peak from the
yeah.
left? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got you. Okay, guys, so we're gonna get out of here. I'll say good night to everybody.
Adios.
I need to go edit the
Wait.
show, and I'm gonna go edit the
wait,
show and
wait.
take the music off the front end. Go ahead.
I wanted to talk to him more about SDRs because he seemed to really know what he was talking about.
Well, you guys stay on here and talk.
I'm still here.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, we're just
well, I
gonna
wanted
bring
to
the
ask
show down.
about
73.
any,
7-3. Good night.
Let's see. I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, wait till everybody goes away.